I'm your co-ghost, Anthony.
And I'm your co-ghost, Caylee.
And this is Two Ghosts Review Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Welcome to our first episode of Two Ghosts Review. Me and Caylee wanted to make a podcast just to review our favorite things. We'll mostly be reviewing MCU stuff. We're both big fans of that, and but right now we're focusing on a movie we just went and saw, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. So when we have something that comes out that we're both wanting to give our thoughts on, we'll probably break out of our MCU reviews and do that. But without ado. Without further ado.
Well,
let's get started.
It's been 36 years since the first movie came out, and we finally have our sequel. And I have to say, I loved it. But that's not a surprise to you. But
No.
Other people don't know me, so it might be a surprise to them.
Yes, you're a huge fan of all Tim Burton things.
Yes, but just because I'm a huge fan doesn't mean that, it's good, but I'm not just saying it was good. It was actually really
biased.
good. I'm a little biased, but it's good anyway. I don't have to be biased.
You're a little biased, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. Well, what did you think of the just the opening credits?
Well, a lot of movies don't do the opening credits
that's
anymore.
True. Nowadays,
they just
yeah.
Get right to it. So anytime there's a movie with opening credits, one, it gets your attention, but two, with this, they went into it doing the same type of opening over the town, and it felt good going into it. But it wasn't necessarily like copying necessarily the first one, but it was like
no, because they ended it different than the.
Well, it was a completely different overview. They had the little Easter eggs of the car. Adam and Barbara's car was down there. I think I may have misseen at one point, but it looked like there were people like coming up the bank. There was differences on it, so it was like they were showing the changes that maybe Adam had made.
Yeah.
When they had the model downstairs at the end of the first movie.
I didn't even realize that though. They moved it down at the end of the first movie, right?
At the end of the first movie.
And then it was back up in the attic.
At the end of the first movie, Adam and Barbara, they lived downstairs. They redid Delia's renovations back to how the Maitlands had it. And yes, Adam had the model in the living room. They were waiting for Lydia to come home, and he was working on it down there. He was updating it even then. He was waiting for her to come home with pictures of the new town hall.
Yes.
So who knows all the things that he did. I'm sure over time I'll notice more things.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I didn't, like you just said, the car in the river, their car in the river. I didn't realize that in the opening credits. They showed it again later on in the movie.
I believe I saw it in the opening credits.
But yeah, I noticed it and I was like, oh, that's fun. But yeah. So what we opened with that, but it ended.
Lydia's show.
Yeah, with her show.
I have my feelings about that.
What are your feelings about that?
Well, in the first movie, right, this wasn't audibly said, but when Lydia's writing her suicide note, in her suicide note, if you pause and you read it, she doesn't narrate everything she has written down. She wrote on there that basically she was killing herself because she couldn't stand being a bridge between the dead and the living anymore and getting pulled in all different directions. So they didn't have her read that in the first movie, but it was there on the paper. And as an adult, now Lydia has a show, a Ghost Hunters, like Elvira crossover type situation.
Yeah.
When I first saw a promo, of that. I didn't quite know how to feel, but I guess I got over it. I mean, it was really silly to watch the.
That was in the the first trailer, right?
That's
'Cause
how
it opened.
It opened with her pushing the remote.
I didn't even think anything about it. I thought it was just for the trailer, really. But
I saw another thing later, like a different type of trailer or something, where it showed that it was her having a show like that, and I was a little disappointed. It just feels so like cheesy, and
I don't know. I did like the guests. The guests with
fantastic.
the dog. I thought, well, at least when the guy started talking, what he said, I was like, yeah, like this feels Tim Burton. Yeah. I don't know, like with those guests, I was like, yeah, this is the like casting or whatever, the characters of them. It felt Tim Burton-y to me.
Everyone always thinks, first off, like, oh, he does the weird characters a certain way, but he does regular people a certain way too. In all of his movies, if there's like a regular, common folk person, they're like the most done up, exaggerated version of that.
Yeah.
So, no, they were good in the clip of her doing her ghost hunting.
The dog on the fan.
Ridiculous. The dog on the fan and all of the cabinets. And I'm not sure if that was supposed to come across as real or if that was supposed to come across as, like, fake that they were trying to pass for real. I don't know, just with the way her fiance producer guy is, if it's really I guess I'm thinking too much about it, but it seemed really silly compared to Lydia's other interactions with ghosts, like when she goes into the bathroom to take her pills, and that lady who died there with the magician, she said, oh, I told him to wear his contacts or whatever, like, and she was like, oh, shut up. Like, I mean, obviously this other ghost was, like, being hostile or whatever, but it seemed really silly.
So, you think it might have been fake?
Yeah.
Like, staged, kind of?
To some extent, yeah, but I'm not 100% sure.
I'd lean more towards it being real for her. I don't know. Like,
well, she doesn't want to do the show. She seems reluctant about the show all the time, and maybe some of them are real, but also they fill it up sometimes with some like dramatic.
I believe they fill it up, but yeah, it's a small part of the overall movie here.
The grand scheme of things.
But with what, Magician's Assistant is what she was. Mm-hmm. I know you said something earlier when we were talking about that you just wish that
I wish they had
we
done
saw more of them, and I totally agree.
More. Yeah. Lydia has this ability, and I know that really, given the plot that we had, she really did just go home. But like, she should. I would have enjoyed seeing her see more dead people. Yeah. Like that, like, and how she's so nonchalant, like. I don't know that if she's seen this ghost before in the bathroom. I think so. I think she knows her name. But she's just like, oh, shut up. Like, I don't want to hear it. Like, she's familiar with them. If she could see more and, I don't like, on the street, things like that. But, yeah. That's a fun part.
That is one of my favorite parts about the Beetlejuice movies now is seeing the dead people, but like with how they died. Yeah, that's the fun part. Yeah. And I feel like we did get a lot more of that. Yeah. But that's just because it is the Netherworld, right? That they go to, or is it a waiting area?
Well, so I'm not sure that the term Netherworld has been used in the live action movies. Yeah, they've done the cartoon, and that's where Lydia goes is the Netherworld, and then go out. Like, and it's a world. Right. This seems like they go to a facility. Like, they're not loose in the world. Even when they're running around, they're in, like, hallways. It's, like, all one building.
Well, we'll get to it a little bit later. Well, we did have, later in the movie, we did see a dry cleaning business,
That's
like on a
true.
street, which that stood out to me because it felt like it was like opening up that world a little more.
That's true.
And the characters there were characters that were in like the facility that were also there.
Yeah,
So
I don't know that they used the term Netherworld. I'd have to watch it again to know. I mean, the term Netherworld comes more naturally to both of us because we're familiar with the cartoon.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I don't think they ever said Netherworld, but
no.
In my mind, I just like connect
That's
it,
what it
yeah,
is,
to that. But yeah. So Delia.
Oh, Delia. Perfect.
Lydia gets a call about Charles.
Yes. Oh, Charles.
But what did you think of seeing Delia? Because I know you had some reaction seeing her.
No, it was before we saw her. I don't know if Lydia was walking down the street or if we just panned down the street, but there was like a ad on like a lamppost banner, I think, and it was her fashion. It was like some deer like outfit on her, and then it kept panning and there was like something else. I don't know if she was wearing the same thing, but there's an ad on the side of a building and it's just so bizarre.
I can't remember what it said. It was something like she's the canvas or something.
She's doing like performance art now. In the first movie she was doing her sculpture, as we all know,
which are everywhere now.
In this movie they're everywhere, but she did sculpture, and then she says at some point in this interaction in the installation, her art exhibit, that she had to up it. It wasn't just enough to do the sculpture. She needed to be in the art. And then you just have this video up on the wall of like birds.
That was
flying
great.
Around
her flapping her arms.
Flapping her arms in her white coat or whatever it was.
So good.
Just ominously playing, and she can't even get to the point about Charles. It takes her forever because she's again talking about this art installation where she was being spray painted. Delia, a mess, wonderful. She's just gold. That was so good. I'm so glad we had Catherine O'Hara back.
Yeah, she was a standout for sure. But
yes, Charles died, and he died not in where did he go to watch birds?
I think it was Hawaii.
Yes, I think if it was Hawaii, that may be a slight nod to the original second Beetlejuice movie that was talked about pretty soon after the first one, where it would have been Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian. And if I'm correct, I was told this, I don't know if I've ever 100% read it for myself, so I could be wrong, but the Dietzes were supposed to buy a hotel in Hawaii that was built on some like burial grounds, and it was supposed to be like, are you kidding me again? Don't know if it's 100% true. That's what I heard. It was supposed to be called Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian, and it didn't happen, which I will say probably a good thing.
Yeah.
But maybe a nod to that. So yes, Charles dies not in Hawaii, not in a plane crash. He doesn't drown.
Almost.
Yes. Oh, he almost drowned, but I don't remember what he was clinging to. Daddy was clinging
a piece of wreckage
to
or
the
something.
Piece of wreckage, and then he got his head bitten off by a shark.
Well, not just his head, like his shoulders, some of his chest,
most of his torso.
But I did like. One thing I liked about this movie was how they danced around not bringing him the actor back.
Well,
and I liked this claymation type thing that they did to show how he died.
Yeah,
it was interesting for sure.
Well, I remember that was in the first trailer, and we were like, oh no, what is that?
It's the plane, and I was like, oh man, the CGI looks terrible.
Well,
but it was like a stop motion.
Yeah, it's stop motion.
Yeah, so I was way off with it.
They didn't bring Jeffrey Jones back, which is a good decision because, over time it was found out that he's like a pedophile or whatever. He was into some bad things that got exposed, and he was not allowed to come back. So I heavily assume that that's the reason. I can't imagine any other reason. I don't.
Yeah.
He's not dead.
Yeah.
No, he's not dead. So they danced around it. Honestly, I'm surprised that they showed, quote unquote, his face as much as they did.
Yeah, I mean, like what? They had his picture on the tombstone.
He was painted in the house. There's a picture of him. I think it was at the wake. They had it, and then they panned over and showed everyone. Anyway, he was in it quite a lot visually, but yes, they did not let him come back, and that was one of the things that I was preemptively worried about. Was this is like the one franchise where you can't get rid of someone you don't want to bring back by killing them off.
Right. Yeah.
Because you kill him.
They're all around.
And where does he go? Well, in theory, I mean, he's probably supposed to go to the house. Because Adam and Barbara died on the bridge, or in the river, under the bridge, and where did they go? Back to the house. So, in theory, no matter where he died, according to the logic of the first movie...
Well, you gotta be... There's a lot of things that are kind of just...
They're loose.
Loose,
yeah.
with Beetlejuice, so... It's okay. It's not...
Yeah, but...
It's silly. If you try to connect things too hard, then it doesn't make sense.
Well... But anyway, he could have potentially gone back to the house. You should have expected to see his character again. So they handled that fantastically. I was very amused, surprised. It was very clever that they had him walking around as a faceless entity.
Spouting blood whenever he talked.
Yeah.
Which he could talk, which is...
It's Beetlejuice.
Okay, exactly. You gotta be kind of loose with the rules.
I will say, I was a bit surprised with how much Delia, not necessarily grieved, but like revered Charles.
Yeah.
In death, she seemed to have like a lot of respect for him, whereas in the original movie, she just kind of drug him around, whatever. Maybe this was just like, I took him for granted or something, but she just had a lot of lines like, oh, Charles would have fixed this, Charles would have done this, Charles would have,
Maybe she's just now realizing.
She was very, very loyal to Charles after his death, so I was surprised by that.
Well, going back to the Delia, the gallery area, the spray painter artist that was gonna spray paint her or whatever.
Yes, he falls down the manhole.
He dies. Yeah, and then we go to the neither world, whatever it is. We go back there, and the spray paint guy runs into our little friend Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito, the janitor, like in the first movie, the guy mopping. Now we have Danny DeVito down there, being very PC. And he sends him to the waiting room and goes and he drinks some more cleaner. Which I'd like to make a point here. In the first movie, it was alluded to and seemingly confirmed. Otho made a joke that when you kill yourself, you become a civil servant in the afterlife. And then we see Miss Argentina slit her wrists. He doesn't have a name, but that other guy, he jumped in front of a car. Juno slit her throat. Everyone in the near world that's working that you see has killed themselves. So Danny DeVito, he drinks the cleaner. He probably killed himself drinking cleaner, would be my guess. But
now my immediate thought when I saw that was, is this kind of like a nod to the Penguin?
Okay, I didn't think of that, but that is true.
Stuff just coming out of his mouth all over the place. Like,
wow, you're smart on that one. You're smart on that one. I didn't think of that. That is, the Penguin with his black sludge. No, I was more focused on... So he dies. He falls down a manhole, which we see later in the movie that there seems to be multiple different, like, I don't want to say portal points, but kind of...
Yeah, they kind of just pop up wherever, it
kind
seems
of
like.
portal-ish type points, which we did not have in the first movie. So did he I mean, the door...
I don't know. Is it a portal? I think he died.
He died and fell down the manhole, but Adam and Barbara die in the first movie, and the first thing they remember is they're just suddenly back at home. So did they go to the waiting room and forget that they had been there?
You die. Maybe,
but like nobody,
I never thought of it like that. Yeah.
Nobody recognizes them. They go and Miss Argentina, she's at the front desk and she doesn't say like, "Oh, you're back again." She was you die, and where do you go? Straight to the netherworld is what this movie would lead you to believe. You go straight to the waiting room.
That would make sense. More sense that they do go there and then maybe they forget or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
don't know. But yeah. But so, that's our first little look at the netherworld, I think.
I mean, in a wider sense than just the hallway in the waiting room, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But then, we go, Astrid. We see Astrid.
At school?
At school.
Yeah.
What do you think of her character? What do you think of Jenna Ortega's?
I like Jenna Ortega. The problem that I have more, it's not really a problem. I just have to adjust that Lydia is a grown adult.
A mom.
A mother.
It is weird.
It's just really strange. Someone who watches Beetlejuice probably monthly, and now all of a sudden Lydia is a grown adult and her kid won't call her back. And like... has an attitude. I mean,
it's kind of funny.
I guess.
It's like how Delia's jabbing at Lydia later on.
Yeah. Karma.
No, you're difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem with Astrid. I mean, she's definitely got the attitude of...
Yeah.
This is definitely Lydia's child. You know, when you're all on your... What did she say? Second marriage or second divorce? I don't remember what she said. Anyway, they're trying to bully her because her mom is on TV, and she doesn't really care. She's more so annoyed.
Your mom is famous.
Yeah.
What? Well, she's weird.
I mean, I wonder why she's in boarding school. Is it by her own wishes? Like, is it because Lydia travels for her filming? Because
I don't know. Was it maybe like, because I know Delia donated the art center or something?
Yeah.
To that school. So like, was that just because that Astrid was going there, or is it because she donated it and then maybe they got like she got in? I think something.
She just donated it because Astrid was going there and she wanted to be a big deal. You know, Delia wants everybody to know.
She wanted her sculpture out front, so Astrid felt at home.
Yeah. Yes, right at home. Yeah. I don't know, because it's interesting. Lydia seems that she wants a relationship with her, but also doesn't know how to have one, and then she doesn't really want to be doing this show, but she does it. And then later, Jeremy asks Astrid if she's traveled a lot because of her mom's show. So, I mean, I guess that Astrid must be in boarding school because Lydia travels.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
But no, I mean, as a character, fine. I don't really have complaints. Jenna Ortega is great. So
yeah, I think she did a good job. I like at the beginning there, I was kind of like, I wasn't very like. I mean, it was just the first appearance, but yeah, I wasn't very impressed. But as it went on, I liked her character more and more throughout the movie.
I mean, you have to give her credit from going from playing Wednesday, a girl with an attitude at a boarding school, to now playing Astrid, a girl with an attitude, at a boarding school. She played them differently.
They are different, yeah.
So that is something to consider. I mean, she may not have been the most interesting, not as interesting as Lydia was back in the first movie, but
yeah,
there's the ability there that she switches between the two.
Yeah.
But then what? My brain. Delia. Is that when Delia shows up and is screaming?
Yes. Yeah. Screaming up at her.
Astrid! Stop torturing your mother!
It's so good.
Oh, yeah, and everyone and their mother looks out the window, and Astrid just takes it from the window.
Yeah.
And then comes down.
And then comes down, talks.
Your mother?
Yeah.
Your mother has lost her daddy. You have lost your grandfather.
Thank you for telling the entire school
yes.
the situation.
Yeah. Delia really should not be in charge of breaking news. Your father has left me. Like, what?
Yeah. Somewhere in here we see Beetlejuice finally.
She's talking. Lydia's talking to Astrid on the bench. She sees Beetlejuice
she
before.
sees Beetlejuice. Flashes of him.
While she's filming, and she runs out to the bathroom, but she sees him for the second time. One of the kids at the school.
Now, is this? Do you think? I don't know. What do you think? It's actually him?
Yes, it's
like
him. They established that.
Okay. I didn't really.
Yeah,
connect at all. I didn't. Yeah, I was kind of like, is she just?
No, it's him. You see him in the in his call center. He says like, oh, I think she really saw me the last time, and he gets a little beetle, crawls up under his shirt like his heart.
Oh, his heart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But the all the little what are they called? The shrunken head people.
Yeah, well, I mean, at advertising, it's called them like shrinkers or something. But yeah, all his little employees in the call center with their shrunken heads.
I love him. I love Bob.
Bob.
He's such a sweet guy.
His right-hand man, Bob. Yeah, they've got all these guys doing customer service on the phone, and their mouths are sewn shut, so everyone's yelling at them. Anytime you hear all their customers are all like yelling, like, can't you hear me? Someone needs to do something about this. Hello? Like, they can't talk back.
They can go.
Yeah, they can't talk back, so that's kind of funny.
Yeah, I liked that. I did think so when, found out about this sequel, I wanted to open with Beetlejuice
in the waiting room. Still a missed opportunity, honestly.
But on rewatching Beetlejuice before watching this one, he did swap out his number. He had that long number, and then he swapped it for the 4, and then he got his head shrunk.
How did his head get unshrunk?
Exactly. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but. Again, loose with the rules.
He's Beetlejuice,
and he can he can turn into all kinds of things. So
that's true. We can let that slide.
So, yeah. But the funeral.
Charles' funeral.
Yeah, I really did I like the tombstone a lot.
Yeah.
It's shaped like a shark fin,
which I didn't
coming
catch,
out of
but I thought it was a tear.
Yeah, well, it's clear, which is it's a choice. It's a Delia's choice.
I was really hoping that when Astrid was sitting on the bench, seemingly looking at a headstone, I was hoping it would be the Maitlands.
Oh, that would have been good.
But
just a little taste.
Yeah, just some. I mean, more than the one mention.
Yeah. Which. I figured that's what they were gonna do. Is it just like a throwaway kind of like, deal with it. They're not here. Deal with it.
They found a loophole, which okay, understandable, but I don't know. I thought maybe it could be more of it was a reward or something to let them out because they kind of created the whole living with the dead, coexisting situation at the end of the first one. The Dietzes have their manual upstairs. They're like paper pamphlet coexisting.
Oh yeah.
It's like another handbook. I thought maybe that they could be like, oh yeah, they got out early because of this, but I don't know. We found a loophole. Really? Because they were co-parenting you basically. Like you were really close with them, Lydia, and nothing really. It's just, I don't know. That to me was a little off, but I understand.
I mean, if they figured it out, then why wouldn't they take it?
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, after a while, it would get boring. Stuck in the house, they were bored of it already.
Yeah. I'm sure they had an emotional goodbye.
That we'll never see.
That we'll never see.
Never know about.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh well. Yeah.
Some point in there too, Dolores makes her appearance.
Yeah, Dolores.
Which off the bat, I
thought
she was cool. Yeah, she was cool, stapling herself together and everything. That was pretty cool. But yeah,
sucking a soul sucker.
Soul sucker.
She sucked out little janitor Danny DeVito's soul, and he turned into a little crinkled up.
A little husk of himself.
Yeah.
Little raisin.
Yeah. Initially, Dolores seemed really, really cool. I will give it that.
Yeah. But I don't know.
She just
moving on.
Yeah.
What we got? Beetlejuice. His backstory.
Oh my gosh! Ridiculous! His backstory.
Yes.
Alive.
In like dubbed in Spanish.
Yeah.
Too. Like
I don't know about that. I mean,
I
that's
was
a humor thing.
Yeah, it's a humor thing, but I for some reason it didn't.
It didn't land.
It didn't work. Yeah, like I get really throughout the movie, like when they did like voiceover thing, like the Spanish kind of deal dubbing with Beetlejuice, and really singing, him singing, and it like just being like the original song. I guess.
Like when he's serenading Lydia.
Yeah, like
it didn't land.
Anytime they did that, it just did not hit right for me. Like it felt weird. It didn't feel. I know what they were trying to do, and it didn't feel like that to me. Like they achieved at that, but. But what'd you think about his backstory though?
I was blown away. Honestly, maybe that's not necessarily what I thought or what I expected, but that's something I never thought that would get explained. He was a grave robber.
Yes.
During the Black Plague.
Which we knew he had a great time.
We knew that he lived through the Black Plague and had a pretty great time during that.
Yep.
I don't know if he attended Juilliard. Probably not by the looks of him. He looked pretty rough, man. Yeah, I don't know that I'm necessarily a fan because they're calling him, which sure they can call him whatever they want, a demon in this movie, which they did not in the last movie. He was just a ghost. I'm not a fan of them just deciding to say demon. That seems like a little harsh. I'm not a fan of the terminology. If like we're trying to just elevate it to the next level by calling him a demon, he was a person.
Yeah.
Who died.
Who
was poisoned and died. I don't know, does Dolores's poison, did she cause him to gain like these extra abilities, or are these just things he's picked up in the afterlife? Like she planned to suck his soul out to like live forever. I wonder, did that like enhance him, like make him, I don't know. He's been very successful since then. He's been
successful, yeah. I don't know. I think there's some room for something like that to be possible.
I mean, I don't need everything to be explained. That is the thing with Beetlejuice. It's loose. It's all loose.
But yeah, you can theorize. Yeah. With that room there, but
also.
Yeah, but what She kills him with poison,
and he hacks her up on the way out.
Yeah,
and then
that's great.
How does her body, which got hacked apart, end up in unclaimed parts? How does she get there in pieces? And who was in? Did Beetlejuice I mean, he hacked her apart, so she died before him. Sure. He couldn't have gotten there first and then boxed her up as she dropped in and take care of her real quick.
Well, I mean, we don't know because there's a lot of time in between that and now, but I'd assume that maybe she put herself together when she got there, did the soul sucking.
Someone else took care of it?
Yeah. Mr. What's his name? Wolf something. Took her
Wolf
down.
Jackson.
Wolf Jackson took her down.
I don't think Wolf Jackson
I don't
took
think
her
it was
down.
it, but yeah, someone like him. And then she's in a box.
Yeah.
Or multiple boxes.
Yeah, Wolf Jackson. Have you ever seen her? Ah! No. Yeah, sure.
Wolf Jackson. Yeah.
Wolf Jackson, who has no fear of saying Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Yeah, he was fun, I guess. Him and, like, there's a few characters throughout the movie that really the movie is just fun. But I felt like they were just thrown in there just to be there, just for fun.
Yeah.
Like,
I would have cut Dolores and Wolf Jackson and give everything else more time.
Even Danny DeVito.
I'm sorry, I love Danny DeVito. I would have cut him, though, because that's part of the Dolores setup. Yeah. So, I mean, to make everything... That would be the only thing I could say that'd be bad about this movie, is that some of the plot lines are lost because they just didn't have enough time. Like, Dolores just spent that movie wandering.
Yeah, she did.
She just wandered and wandered through the halls like it was a Scooby-Doo episode, killed a couple of people, and then just got ate by a sandworm.
Yeah. I think she was a waste unless, which we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but unless she comes back in a third movie. Because she just got, a sandworm got her. I don't know if that really takes care of her, or...
Beetlejuice got eaten by a sandworm in the first movie at the end and ended up in the waiting room, so that's what I don't understand about them taking people out with a sandworm. That doesn't do anything.
Right.
At least to Beetlejuice. But if he's a dead guy...
We can get to that later. But we had Astrid. She went up in the attic and found...
she found the pictures of her
dad.
Her normie dad.
Her normie dad.
Tell me how Lydia Dietz grows up and marries this regular-looking dude who just...
She fell in love.
I don't know. This is just weird. I kind of agree with what Winona Ryder had to say in interviews about how she never thought this would be Lydia's future. She just thought she would be in the house alone but happy, and that originally the idea of having a family like of her own was weird. It was weird. I felt weird about it, and then I don't know, have some kind of a reaction to flipping through the photo album, and it's showing she was pregnant with her and like all these things. It's just a weird visual for me. I don't know. Yeah. It like made me feel like I'm not emotional, but I was like, oh, like Lydia had a whole life.
And we missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lydia had a whole life, and that's weird for me. I grew up with this movie, and I don't know. It's just weird that she grew up too.
That's what happens over time.
Yeah, a 36-year gap.
Yeah. So they find that little flyer thing.
The love connection.
The love connection.
What does Astrid say? Ew?
Yeah, ew. But what? She almost says Beetlejuice 3 times.
And Lydia just starts freaking out with no explanation, even though Astrid wouldn't believe her. But that seems like a great way to just egg her on. She's a teenager. Yeah. Just don't ever say that name.
Don't explain it. Just keep yelling at her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She'll totally stop. But because it's a movie, she did.
And then she rides away on her bike while Lydia and Delia have their conversation.
Well, did she? Yeah, I like that conversation. What she was doing her breathing, Actually, yeah, I was like, I thought it was a man. I was like, what? I was so surprised, but it was just Lydia. But
No, she has anxiety. It's a breathing.
Yeah,
Well, you gotta get deep. It works.
All right. But,
As an adult with anxiety,
man.
I can attest to the breathing.
But yeah, no, I did like the conversation just between Delia and Lydia, and I don't know. I liked the back and forth of, like Delia kind of being like, oh, I only really liked Lydia
when she
got
fame.
famous. Yeah, and like.
Yeah, she says. I don't know. They've got a weird relationship. They've got a way better relationship, obviously, than in the first one. But it's
because
like,
Lydia's famous.
Well, like, Delia's not, like, being her mother, but she's not being her friend. It's just like, I don't know, it's interesting.
It's like an aunt.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Delia's, like, acting like Lydia's aunt.
It's fun. It's a fun relationship.
And then Astrid is off riding through town.
Well, I think we have doesn't she run off at the wake?
No.
Or is it this point?
No, because she's just got screamed at, and she's like, "Gosh, Mom, you're such a freak." And Lydia's like, "Wow, was I that bad?" And Delia's like, "Karma." Yeah. So Astrid is riding away on her bike, almost gets hit by a couple cars. The Maitland's hardware store is a coffee shop now. Relatable in these modern times. And she almost gets hit by 2 cars and crashes through a fence and hits her head on a tree, a very Burton-esque tree.
They're really trying to make it look like she's gonna die.
Well, that's what the trailer made it look like. They did kind of fake a little bit out in the trailer.
Yeah. But yeah, she hits this tree.
And she meets Jeremy.
Oh, he's so dreamy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know. Jeremy gave me some weird vibes from the very beginning, but I could not have pegged him for what he was.
Yeah, I did not see that coming.
I almost for a second.
I thought it was weird.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Like when she comes, over to his house.
That's when I really started to get it that it was weird.
Yeah, it started to be weird, but like not showing the faces
of his parents.
Of the parents. I kind of threw it away just because it was a Tim Burton movie. I don't know why, but like
he's done it before.
The
don't show the adults.
Don't show the adult faces thing was kind of just like
a Charlie Brown.
Yeah, even though they showed adults' faces all over in the movie.
Yeah,
but like for some reason I just kind of threw it away because it was like Tim Burton.
Well, I was thinking about Jeremy when they went up to his room, mainly. Mm. I don't remember if it was the first time or the second time. I think it's the first time. He says something about, like, oh, you can't tell your mom. Like, something. I was like, is this Beetlejuice?
Oh.
That's what I thought for a slight second. I was like,
I thought that too. Yeah. I remember that, yeah.
And, yeah, I knew something was going on when everything was blurring behind both of them.
Well, yeah, at that point, yeah, something's happening.
But, like, I really did for a second, that was, if I was going to make a guess about something regarding him, yeah, that's Beetlejuice, somehow, because it seems like the same situation. Like, oh, you can help me come back to life. Yeah.
Well, somewhere in between that, her hitting the tree and being able to see dead people now.
Yeah, well, she doesn't know that he's dead.
Yeah, but
she can suddenly
see dead people now. And between that and Halloween night, we had
proposal.
Lydia and Rory.
Oh, Lydia and Rory go see Beetlejuice. Yeah, and Rory, he's so stupid. He thinks it's all a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. He thinks what? Lydia decides to come clean. Because she runs upstairs and screams at the model and gets caught, and say that, Beetlejuice was a demon who terrorized her when she was younger and tried to force her to marry him. And Rory decides this is a good time to do some kind of therapeutic exercise and help her face her demons. Literally, says Beetlejuice 3 times, and they plop down into therapy. They plop down into the model, and Lydia immediately knows it's the model. She's never done that before. Maybe she's just familiar.
She's familiar with the model,
so,
yeah. But they plop down in the model, and then they plop down...
They fall down the street.
Yeah.
Well, it says drop on in, something like that. So they drop down in, literally. And Beetlejuice is there with his usual charm.
I think this scene is like my favorite Beetlejuice performance in the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Not necessarily the baby.
No,
but
the Beetlejuice baby.
But I think he's the most animated.
Oh yeah, the most
in
energy.
This part, yeah, and like just the most Beetlejuice, like the eyes popping. He does the face thing that you don't get to see again.
The bats coming out of his face, yeah.
All
Spills
that.
his guts.
Spills his guts, which I love. I mean, maybe that's just The Walking Dead. Negan guts
it was
thing,
good. It was way too much
I
guts.
loved it.
And that was
But it was great. But they made them like blue or something.
Yeah, they're silly. Yeah. Well, of course they are.
But yeah, no, I liked Beetlejuice in this scene. I liked him being the therapist too. He looked great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With his belly.
I was very disturbed by the Beetlejuice baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like I don't even know what to think about that really. That's like they were trying to do like some kind of like horror. I mean, it's a comedy horror movie, but like a Chucky thing or something. I don't know. Like it looked like a baby doll.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't like a baby.
Yeah.
Baby like.
I don't know what the deal was with that, but I get it, but I don't get it. It made me more uncomfortable than anything else. I mean, it's chewing on Lydia's leg.
Yeah.
She's just yelling at him while it's doing that. I don't know. And then home, or whatever she says. Mm-hmm. And they're back, and Rory thinks it's a dream. And Lydia makes a remark about, maybe we should stop taking the pills that he tried to get her to stop taking because it suppresses her abilities somehow.
Yeah.
Which they didn't elaborate on.
They didn't say what it was, but yeah. So, we could go to back to Halloween night there, and Jeffrey.
Oh yeah.
Which I liked. He had the handbook.
Yes, he had the handbook.
I thought he did actually pick it up somewhere.
Well, the only place that he would have been able to pick it. I mean, I guess other people have died in the town, but I would have assumed that was just something that Delia was like, and just sold or gave away or I don't know. Yeah, I bought that, his lie about having the handbook, and
I did too. Yeah.
Astrid, I don't think thought anything of it. She thought what did she say? Something that something my mom would write or something.
Yeah, she didn't even know what it was.
She didn't know.
Yeah. But I did like, flipping through. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but sometimes in other movies they don't really elaborate on things like this. But they flip through the book a little bit, and you see a page about the sandworm.
Yeah.
And I saw something that really quick. It said something like draw a triangle or something.
You draw a rectangle on the floor.
Something like that. Yeah. And it was a rectangle, but draw something on the floor and
knock 3 times.
And later on, they actually
she
go
saw
through
it.
with
she
something.
Does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated it because it was so quick.
I will say something that bothered me which this is jumping ahead, but it has to do with the book. Lydia finds out, this is a murder house. Everyone in the house is dead. After seeing dead people, she runs into the house to save her and sees the portal door into the afterlife, Netherworld closing, picks up the handbook and shuts it.
Yeah.
She didn't look to see
She didn't-
what
Yeah,
had
that irritated
happened.
me too.
She just shut it, which, I mean, she's already read the whole thing, but that's still...
But yeah, like, it's open to
it's
something.
open to something.
Why
Why
is
did
it
you
open
shut
to
it? I mean,
something?
I understand, I guess you're in a panic, but also you're familiar with this at least a little bit.
Yeah.
You could understand it when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
And the grown adults that actually needed the information didn't understand.
Yeah, I was irritated with that too, but whatever. She goes and gets Beetlejuice
Yeah.
to lend a helping hand
Yeah.
in marriage.
Well, she's like, whatever I have to do, I don't even really care. I've done this before. Make a deal with Beetlejuice, and he's ready this time. He's got paperwork.
He's got paperwork.
He is getting in it in writing this time.
Yeah. So then we kind of all go. Everybody goes.
Everybody goes.
Goes to the neither world.
Well, the difference here is that Lydia trips an alarm because Beetlejuice blows them in.
Yes, which I loved. I loved that scene.
The bomb?
Yeah. Yeah. We've done the doors. We've done the doors. Beetlejuice is gonna do a bomb. He's gonna do
Yeah.
He uses his fingers as a lighter.
Which I feel like we've skipped here a little bit of neither world happenings with Dolores taking out someone else.
Yeah, she took out the dry cleaning guy
After Charles
came in. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. It's like it doesn't matter much to the story.
It's fun to see Charles.
Yeah.
And Dolores is just, why does the guy from the dry cleaner know about Beetlejuice? He doesn't. So, like, yeah, she just kills him because
she gets a dress.
She went in there. Yeah, she got a dress.
But
and yeah, you got Wolf Jackson, who was an actor and who is now a policeman. A very bad one.
He's a detective.
Yeah, detective with his cops under him, all their mustache, their helmets, and everything.
Yeah.
And Beetlejuice leaves Bob in charge. Bob is now impersonating Beetlejuice with his shrunken head.
I love Bob so much. He's such a great character.
He's impersonating Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice has told him, Dolores is going to come looking for me. You're going to take the heat first, and she's going to kill you for me. And Bob says, and sweats. Yeah, so now Lydia and Beetlejuice are in the neither world, and
all of Bob's friends
Bob
have
is
run out of the neither world into the real world.
Beetlejuice says, Bob, you're in charge, and he says, everybody, let's get back to work. And instead, they stampede out of the bomb hole, down through the house.
They bum rush Bob.
Yeah. And they're out, loose in the real world, scaring Jane the realtor. Her daughter's all grown up now, and scaring the Girl Scout troop that she leads, and her daughter.
That's another one of my favorite little
moments.
clips. Yeah, just them all running out of the house,
scattering in the yard,
going in all different directions. They just look ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely.
Throwing things in the store too.
They're loose on the streets.
What are they doing?
The pastor is driving around.
Okay.
And
Okay.
We've skipped the proposal.
Oh, yeah.
At the wake. The proposal at the wake where, Delia tries to shut it down a couple times where, Charles wouldn't have liked the speech. No.
Yeah.
And good old Rory does his most disturbing, disgusting, desperate begging in front of lots of people at Lydia's father's funeral for her to please marry him, and she clearly doesn't want to. For some reason keeps looking to Astrid for help.
Yeah.
And finally declines and then accepts.
Well, she says, okay, or something.
Yeah, that's not very promising.
It's not really the yes that he proclaims that she said.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan.
No, I'm not. I mean, I think it's the point not to like Rory.
Well,
but,
of course.
But I didn't like his character.
He serves more of a point than Dolores did.
He did, yeah. Yeah, that's true. But
Okay, so Astrid is tricked into the Netherworld to swap lives with Jeffrey so he can come back to life.
yes.
After he accidentally died, he killed his parents, and then the cops were after him. He's hiding in his treehouse, and he fell down and broke his neck. So now he wants to come back to probably do more bad things.
Yeah, so they're running around in either world or trying to get to what was it, like customs or something?
They're not
like,
running around. Yeah, they basically had
like,
I don't remember.
Well,
Customs, something
everybody's
like that.
running around.
Yeah, well, they go to
everybody's
customs.
going somewhere else.
They're in line. The mummy tells her that she needs to get on the soul train, and he needs to go get his passport stamped somewhere else. And she gets dropped off with the what were they like?
I don't know. I don't know. Some kind of soldiers.
I can't. The word for it is slipping my mind right now. But yeah, down to the soul train where we've got the disco going on, which I could have gone without that. I get the joke about the soul train, but really wouldn't have all of those people that died dressed that way. They would have been gone a while ago.
Yeah.
And they're going to the great beyond. So if you ride the soul train, are you like passing on, like you're no longer like Casper type thing? You finish your unfinished business, and now you get to go all the way through to the other side.
I think that's interesting. Did you read all of the locations on the board?
Probably in the moment, but I can't recall them
the
all.
only one I saw Pearly Gates was one of them.
Yeah.
Was one of the locations, but I couldn't see the. On a second watch, I want to look at that more closely just to see where everything is. But we do have I guess a hell.
Oh yeah, because Jeffrey goes.
Beetlejuice is the one that sends him basically to hell.
Yeah, at the end there, Beetlejuice, I was starting to like, is he actually being nice to Lydia?
It seemed like he was being
really being
nice.
Helpful for once. Like after all these years, I don't know.
But also, now when Beetlejuice does that, I felt like that it was just a quick, just get rid of this character. Like,
yeah, if they got rid of Dolores and the Jack Wolf stuff, that wouldn't be necessary, or Wolf Jackson stuff without Dolores, because we wouldn't need the police that much without her running around killing people. We would have had more time to spend on Jeffrey's plan and the escapades trying to get there, having it take more time. Maybe Astrid gets away and he gets her again, more time with that, because it really was just like, come over to my house on Halloween, I'm gonna steal your life, you're on the train, your mom got you off, and now I'm dead. It was so fast.
I think if we focused too much on that, though, I think it would have been a darker movie, or a more like real, like I feel like he felt more like a real sinister like horror one.
Yeah.
So I think it balanced it out. Having the other characters,
I guess you're right.
They weren't that great.
Mm-mm.
But it balanced out the tones and everything.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
When Lydia pulls Astrid off the soul train, and they run off.
Oh, they ran past her dad?
Yeah, they ran past her dad, but they go to now. Correct me on this, because I just had it wrong. I thought it was Saturn. But it's Saturn's moon, is what they say.
Okay, well, the only reason that we call it Saturn is because in the first movie, Adam and Barbara, obviously, Adam's been twice, Barbara's been the one time, and they go on the model, and when you've been to Saturn, as we're calling it, you get yellow from the sand blowing around. Beetlejuice can tell that they've been to Saturn. They don't look yellowed anymore, but he can tell. And he says, oh, hey, you've been to Saturn. I've been to Saturn.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can, in the first movie as well, see planets in the sky. I haven't ever paid attention to what planet it is.
Fair enough.
But, I guess you're on Saturn's moon, as Astrid points out.
Actually, it's Saturn's moon.
Okay, well, those are the rules we're establishing. Sandworms are on Saturn's moon exclusively. We're not going to lay down any other concrete rule.
yes, that's the only rule.
No, something that
concrete fact
did intrigue me is that Astrid's dad, who Lydia can't see, who we thought died in an accident, he's working, which according to rules that I thought were pretty concrete, means that he would have had to kill himself. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he had little fish on him. I don't know if those are piranhas or something.
Piranhas, yeah. So at least I think they're supposed to be.
Yeah. But I don't know. I guess I wasn't. I was paying attention.
Makes it much more sad.
Yeah, but they didn't elaborate.
Yeah, I did get just like a. I liked his character. Yeah, but like he seemed just like sad, but like grateful to just see them both again, be with them both again.
Yeah,
and
which
like
he said
he watches them. Yeah, so like I don't know. I liked his character, and that makes sense if he if he killed himself or something, or maybe he was. I don't know, but
well then, Willem Dafoe's character died in a stunt accident.
Yeah,
and he was working, though for him, honestly, it could have been by choice.
Yeah,
he was real into it. Yeah, so like I mean, his assistant had like a spear through her throat.
Yeah,
and the other one had been shot in the chest. I don't know that she could have done that to herself, but
I don't know. I feel like this is another thing that. Yeah, it's probably just they're just being loose with it.
Oh, don't be loose with it. That was one rule.
Yeah, I mean, like these people probably could have done it to themselves, but I don't know, javelin through the throat and all that stuff. Like
keep it real.
Yeah, like, but well, in the real world, we have Delia. With these snakes.
Which Astrid warned her. I think Astrid said that they're bad luck.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. And Delia was like, no, they're for like love proclamations. And so
here's my thing. I know it because there's some stuff at the wedding that like make it so it should be the way that they made it, basically how she looks. She's got the snake bites, right? Yeah. I personally would have liked it better if the snakes were hanging on her neck.
Oh yeah,
like that would have looked so much better. It would have fit in with all the other ones.
She did not look silly.
And it would have it's artistic too.
Yeah,
I don't know, but. Yeah. I know why they didn't do it, because they were trying to play like
nobody else knew that she was dead.
Nobody knew she was dead. Yeah, but I like just the end kind of with like because Charles and Delia at the end. I mean I think it would have been even better
if
just
she had been
a visual. Yeah,
she doesn't look dead. Yeah, she's got marks on her neck and that's it. Which she's out there in the cemetery. Filming herself doing some kind of ceremony, and she gets bit by the asps, as she calls them. Asps. Which she paid to have defanged and then also didn't check. And then she died, and as soon as she got bit, I was very sad. Did not want Delia to die. That was shocking. It is sad. She was so fantastic, which just because she's dead, we keep saying if there's a third one and the opportunity that there's a third one. They named this movie Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
I think that they're planning on making a third one.
The whole thing, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, like
you're leading up to it.
Yeah, you're heavily insinuating a third one. So it's not that we won't see her again if they do go ahead with a third one. It's just like, oh, she's dead now.
Yeah. Now that this wedding, I don't know. This is where a lot of my problems with the movie kind of come to a head. Like, we get this whole long.
I loved it. The songs?
Yeah, which, like I said earlier, I didn't really like the dubbing over thing. I didn't think it hit as well, but
it's not as good as the Banana Boat song.
No. No.
I agree. The music that they picked, it does not resonate on the same level, and maybe it's just because
it should have been a little more wacky or something. Yeah.
In the first movie, it was like 2 or 3 artists that were heavily featured. Aside from Danny Elfman's score, it was the same couple people. So, I mean, it was more variety this time, but I enjoyed it. To me, it was I'd never heard the song before.
Well,
it was out there.
I mean, if it's its own song, like not really, like not made for the movie.
No, it's been out. It's an older song.
Yeah, it's an older song. I like how it lined up with like the cake and the striped pants or something. Like it fit in with.
And everyone's confused. Like Lydia and Beetlejuice are arguing about the recipe. I liked it. I could say maybe I didn't like it when he seemingly froze time to continue on.
Well, yeah, this is my big thing here. I feel like Beetlejuice was really prolonging this wedding like he didn't want it to happen. I feel like all the events at the wedding, he purposely didn't let it go through or something, which was weird. Which was very weird because the first movie, he was on top of it.
He's cutting the Reverend doll.
Yeah, he's like, let's speed this up. Let's get it done before it doesn't happen. And this one, he did a super long song, and then like, he basically gives up.
Well, you're getting a little bit ahead of yourself here because we've got Lydia is supposed to be marrying her fiance Rory, who gets injected with truth serum and says what everybody was thinking, that he didn't really care for her all that much, and he lied. In therapy, he never had a wife who died in a skiing accident, and he just wanted to be with Lydia for her money. And again, this is me being confused. Beetlejuice is being really nice.
Yeah, he's acting out of character.
Yeah, Beetlejuice is doing some favors, which, I mean, he helped her with the Maitlands in the first movie, but it didn't seem to me that he put that much effort into helping them.
He didn't put much effort into it, and he was getting something out of it.
He was getting something out of it, yeah. But they were singing the song at the beginning, and, Delia and Astrid were going for the handbook, and he stopped them. Mm-hmm. And they're dancing together, and, he's paused the police who have come to get them all for breaking in and out. And,
and all over the place.
This poor Reverend is now roped into this, and he's singing, and he's scared. I don't know. I mean,
and then Dolores shows up.
And
dies right away.
Immediately gets taken out by the sandworm along with Rory. Yeah, Dolores really was made up to be really intimidating at the beginning. Oh, she'll just walk right up to you and suck the life out of you, and you have no defense. Which she killed Bob. We skipped.
Yes.
Bob gets picked up for interrogation by the police.
He gets picked up.
He gets picked up for interrogation.
By the police.
They turn on the one-way glass, and Bob is sitting in there, and
poor guy.
Here comes Wolf Jackson to tell him your lips better start flapping. They're sewn shut. Bob is profusely sweating.
What am I going to do?
Well, he can't talk. They leave him in the interrogation room.
Yeah.
And he dies there. Dolores comes in. She sees him. Looks a little familiar. And then kills him. She
pops his eyes.
She pulled out his stitches. Well, I thought she was going to choke on his name tag. His name tag. I thought she was going to choke on his name tag. And then she popped his stitches. And I thought he was going to say something. But she just killed him.
No. Yeah.
So that was very tragic. I thought he was going to have something to say.
He didn't even have anything profound to say.
He didn't even get his last words.
He was too scared.
He was just sweating so hard. It's dripping down onto his suit. Poor Bob. But back to this wedding.
Yeah, the wedding. So you gotta help me here again with this. the order of events here, just at the end of how Beetlejuice, how they get rid of him.
Well, he is in violation of some law for either bringing Lydia in or taking Delia out. I don't remember which one.
Well, yeah, the thing was, I think it was about bringing Delia in because she earlier.
You mean Lydia?
No, Delia. Or no, bringing Delia out. It was bringing Delia out.
It's either bringing Delia out
because she summoned him while she was in the waiting room to help her because she does know somebody.
Yeah, okay, but the police were after Beetlejuice and Lydia when they were in the Netherworld because Beetlejuice blew a hole in and went off, and that set off an alarm for an unauthorized entry into the Netherworld. So they were after Beetlejuice because he brought Lydia in.
Okay, that makes more sense then.
They were coming after him. They were still running him down, and the fact that he brought Delia out was just like an added offense.
Okay,
so
yeah.
Beetlejuice
then I just had it wrong then. So that's fair then.
Beetlejuice is in violation of laws. That's why the police came out after him. Dolores bursts in. It's just kind of all, convenient there.
Yeah.
But Astrid's able to get a hold of the handbook and somehow quickly is able to find out that because of the law that he violated, somehow his contract is void.
Yeah.
And it bursts into flames in his hands and it's gone. And then Lydia sends him back and he doesn't try to stop her. He just inflates like a balloon.
Yeah.
And then pops and says, should have got married in Vegas. And then the piece with his face disappears.
I mean, even though, because I for some reason I thought it was about Delia, which didn't make sense.
Well, then the police start taking her back and everyone's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then, they find out she died.
Yeah. But,
I totally thought they were going to come across her, though, in the graveyard on the way to the church.
Me too. Yeah, I thought they were going to come across her body or something.
Yeah, but no, I guess not.
But, yeah, so I still don't see why he took so long to get the wedding going.
I think it's because he wanted to do it right this time. He really wanted to woo her. Not that she found that enjoyable, I think. Yeah.
But,
he's trying to be more romantic. He's trying to step up his game.
Well, it backfired.
Yeah, well.
But, so now, we get this dream sequence, I guess, at the end.
Oh, where Lydia says that she quit her show.
Yes.
She thanks all her ghosties
Which I think
watching.
That part was real.
Yeah.
But, all that other stuff was fake.
They're going to the Dracula's castle, which
all that
is back to what Astrid said that her and her dad always talked about, going to all the spooky places. And so in this sequence, Lydia and Astrid are going to the castle, and upon entering, they pass some guy dressed as a vampire, and Astrid longingly looks at him, and then all of a sudden she's getting married. And then all of a sudden, she's giving birth in a very strange hospital room with a very empty white room with a bed in the corner, like, angled out. And there's a large viewing glass where Lydia smiles and watches.
And again, it had the Tim Burton effect on me because...
You thought it was real?
Because, I thought, we were going through, I don't know, I guess we're just speeding up, we're going through life after this. And normally I wouldn't think that hospital, or normally I would think that hospital was odd, but because it's a Tim Burton movie, same with the parents, Jeffrey's parents, or Jeremy's parents, I was like, it's a Tim Burton movie. So it kind of looks like that.
I mean, for a second, kind of, but it was just, and then she gives birth to the Beetlejuice baby that crawls up on the ceiling and then plops down on her and says, "Mama." And then Lydia wakes up and, like, sighs, rolls over, and Beetlejuice is in bed next to her, and I don't remember what he says. Something like, "I just had the craziest dream."
Yeah.
And then she, like, screams or something, and then she wakes up again, but she's in bed alone.
Yeah, which, I mean, it's gotta lead to a third one. Yeah, like, I mean, this movie was like, what, she was trying to, like, get rid of Beetlejuice, I feel like, in this one, like, she was trying to face him. She said that her therapist or something, like, said something about...
Her therapist said that there's something she's holding on to that she needs to let go of.
It's Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
In her mind, and at the end, he's still there. It's like, okay, it's got to continue then, like...
Yes, which I am strongly against. Delia was trying to sell the house. Lydia should not sell that house. That house is so important. Do not sell the house.
I don't know if they will or not, but I mean, yeah, I think Delia was the one that was leading that, so it's possible that Lydia could keep it.
The only other choice, which Lydia would never do, Delia would have done, is to turn it into the museum that Charles wanted it to be in the first movie. The Museum for the Paranormal.
Yeah.
But that won't happen. I don't know.
So overall, what's your overall thoughts?
Overall thoughts? I loved it. I had a good time. I was laughing. I almost cried a couple times. It got me in the feelings in a couple places. That was unexpected. There was a couple confusing moments, you know, some characters I would have gone without to elaborate on other areas, but Tim Burton does not do sequels. This is a very, very rare occurrence. He does not make a movie unless he feels like artistically it's worth it.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, I think, you know, he felt the need to make it. I enjoyed it. I'm glad it's here. Beetlejuice on its own, the first movie, it still stands alone on its own. Just
so
fine.
Much time between it, too.
So much time between it. Yeah. It kind of feels like they're both their own separate things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But they're together.
Yeah.
You can watch either one without the other, and it's like its own story. Obviously, the second one, you know, there's all the characters come from that. Yeah. But, like, I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, my overall thoughts on it, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I do think that, their characters are not necessarily needed. I think Dolores was kind of a waste. I do wish that there was a little more Danny DeVito's character. I liked him.
He couldn't
Beetlejuice,
really do much.
Yeah, Beetlejuice. I know Michael Keaton is older, so that definitely plays a part in it. But he was not as animated or wild.
He didn't have the same physicality.
Yeah, physicality of the first one. He didn't really, in the first one, he did a lot more shape-shifting, I feel like, too. Like, and they didn't really do that in this one very much. No. I think they could have done that without making him do things more physical.
I think that they were weary of trying to hit all the nails on the head. Like, we don't want to make a sequel just to pull the same gimmicks to make people feel nostalgic kind of thing.
Which it did feel like just an original sequel, like not just a copy of the first one. But one thing I just kind of liked, last thing here, I did not like all the faces getting sucked into the phones. That was like the only CGI kind of thing.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And it, like, you could tell, like, it felt out of place. It looked kind of not that great. It was CG, and it, like, everything else was practical. It was, like, great. But I didn't really like that. But I also liked, as you're rolling the credits, they put Bob up there, and it was like, what?
Rest in peace, Bob.
Rest in peace, 1873 or something to.
It was like 13, something like that. Really long time ago.
But yeah, long time ago, 1373. I don't know, but yeah, I liked that little thing at the end. Yeah. But yeah.
Overall, it was a good movie, okay? For a 36-year gap, is a much better sequel than any of the other movies that have come out lately with the same time span of a gap.
Oh, yeah,
if you want to compare it to, like, Hocus Pocus 2, which came out a couple of years ago. Terrible sequel. That was one. For cash. You can tell the difference between a cash grab and someone who actually put some thought into it.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice could have had a sequel 30 years ago. It didn't.
Yeah.
For a reason.
One more question.
Yes.
Which one do you think is better?
Oh,
first or second?
Gosh, they're so different.
Gotta throw it out there.
They're so different. That's not fair. That's not fair. I mean, I've only seen the second one once.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna have to say the first one. I mean, they're very, 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 very different. The first one was about just a couple who was dead and found themselves in a strange situation. How do I deal with these people? And the second one had it was much wider. Every character had their own story. Like, the first one, sure, you can say it was the Maitlands versus the Dietzes plus Lydia. This was Delia and Lydia and Beetlejuice and Astrid, and all these people had completely different storylines. And then they had a main one together. It felt broader. It felt more open world, sort of. They're very different feels.
Yeah, I would say the first one. The second one was great.
Yeah,
it was really good.
Not taking anything away from the second one.
I just think the first one was a more clear cut story. Just with all the characters in the second one, I think it muddied it up a little bit.
A little bit extra noise.
A little bit, not too bad, but
not as bad as a lot of other things.
I think the first one was just a cleaner story, and I just like Beetlejuice's physicality or whatever more in that one, but yeah. So. If you've gotten this far.
Yeah.
It's a long one. I mean,
I feel the need to say, I think in the middle there, we started calling Jeremy Jeffrey.
Yeah, I think we did.
So, oops, sorry. Yeah. I mean, we saw the movie once yesterday, so.
Yeah. But, yeah, if you gotten this far, thank you for watching, or not really watching, I guess listening. Thank you for listening. We are planning to try to put a new episode out every other week. So whatever day we put this out on, it'll be 2 weeks later. Try to put out another one. I don't know if they're going to be the same length or not. Well, we'll see how far we get.
We'll just
on
keep
other
talking
ones,
until we run out.
But yeah, this one went at least over an hour. So yeah, but we do have a Instagram account up, so you can check that out. It's just Two Ghosts Review, and if you want to leave, we'll probably have a post up about this.
Oh yeah. This
episode. So if you want to leave any of your thoughts or anything on the comments on that, you can do that. We might go over those comments in another episode.
Yeah.
Too. So, but yeah. So, thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you for listening. And in the beginning, I believe we said this would be mainly MCU. I don't know that that's necessarily true. That's going to be the first big, long-running project we're going to pop through all the Marvel projects, but we're gonna hit other things too. It won't just be that. That's just a good, healthy franchise for us to start with.
Yeah, we're just both interested in MCU. Like, it's a shared interest, so something that we can talk about. But for me personally, like I like MCU. I like Walking Dead, so probably cover some Walking Dead stuff too here and there. Obviously, Caylee here likes Tim Burton stuff, but I don't know how. Well, there's not very many projects that come out. We can go back. We can go back. But yeah.
Yeah. That's about it for our first episode.
All right. Yeah. We'll see everybody next time.